Hey, what's up, team? Chris Harrison from Smash Factor Golf Fitness. I am in full reno mode all over the place here. That's where the sim bay is going. We open up July 1st. This video, though, I want to smash out as quickly as I can, is a kind of update on Sagebrush. I was just there on Saturday. I know a lot of our golfers in the Lower Mainland are likely heading there this summer or thinking about it. And yeah, I just wanted to give an update on kind of what's happening up there from our experience on Saturday. First of all, for me, Sagebrush is the most fun golf course in BC, hands down. Tobiano is great as well, but you can't stay on property there. But I actually prefer Sage as a golf course. It's so much fun. I've been each of the last 3 years, their soft opening year one, and the last 2 years after that. Is that right? Was last year the first main year? I can't remember. So either the last two or 3 years, and I go up, this year I'm going up 3 times, including this last weekend. I was up there twice last year and twice the year before. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so the challenge with Sage the last couple of years has just been understaffing. The staff there is fantastic. They work really, really hard, but they're just, trying to get things back off the ground, and they just hadn't had enough people where some of the customer service stuff was just falling through the cracks. The golf course is sick and everything there. The places where you stay are great, but there's just been, some issues there that a lot of you guys that have been have kind of felt. So, but for me, the glory days of the last couple of years at Sagebrush are likely gone, and they could never stay. Going up there, I remember when I went out with my North Shore Shootout crew, it was, I think, early July 2 years ago, and we went a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and there were 16 of us and 4 other golfers the whole time. Like literally you had the whole golf course to yourself. And for me personally, that is worth everything. That is worth so much more than whatever else was going on there. Just being able to move around holes, do whatever you want. You basically owned a golf course, and an incredible, top 10 course in Canada. So, but that was never going to stay. They weren't making enough money. None of it made sense on that side of things. So they've made a shift, and it was always going to need to go here, or it was going to close down. So the shift now is that the tee sheet's a lot more full. They've actually reduced the rate, but there's no full day rate now, so you pay for your 18. So if you're like me and you're playing 36 holes up there, you get a rate for your first one and then a replay rate. So there was 118 golfers on site on Saturday. It still didn't feel necessarily like a busy golf course, because obviously that's a hell of a lot less than's going on in any public track that's happening in the Lower Mainland. But we were first out in the morning round, so not relevant, obviously. Super chill, played, had a great time. And then we were at 2-ball in the afternoon rounds. We went off at 1:30, and it was a slow round. We stopped on 16, and we were at 5 hours, I think, at that point. And now we were a 2-ball, so we were playing, just our normal game, and then we were doing 2 or 3 around the green games just to try and slow ourselves down so that we weren't constantly going up against into other groups. But we ended up joining up on maybe 12 or 13, 12 with 2 other guys that were in front of us as well. But even still then, we were waiting a bunch. And I think what is happening is right now Sage is stuck between the 2 things. And not necessarily their fault, but groups like mine that is going up in 5 weeks, and then another one in September, that have been going there are going up with like 8, 12, 16 people strong. And they're, maybe not going out as 6-sims or 8-sims anymore, but like in the last 3 holes, the groups that finish are coming back to follow the other groups, which just slows everything down. And so there's certainly an issue there that, number one, you need to understand that there's tons of people coming behind you. So if you are playing games with your buddies and it's it's a team of 8 versus a team of 8, you got to make sure you're still playing quickly and still playing ready golf in those, especially in those last few holes, so that you don't completely clog up the rest of the golf course. So that's number one. I think it's good to understand that this is now going to play like much more like a regular golf course, and you need to be aware of your time spent a little bit more. Because of what's happening there, because it's getting busier, which is fantastic, there's going to be more players that have gone up there that haven't played the golf course before. And even though it is wide open, obviously we're all still hitting golf balls all over the place. The fescue there, you can actually find your ball sometimes. So, I would certainly suggest that there be a bit of a clock that you're going to be running, at 2-3 minutes tops to be looking for your ball, even if you're in a match. So, yeah, and that would just keep things going, especially if you know there's a bunch of people behind you. You just got to be playing kind of regular golf on that side of things. So, still amazing. By far the best course conditions that course has been in, like fucking 10 out of 10. The greens were so good. They were firm, but obviously they don't have them running really fast or it would just be carnage out there. But they were fantastic. Like it was hard to chip and have like the ball bite on those greens. So you got to get used to that. The bunkers are really penal there. They're very uneven in terms of like really, really soft sand or hard pan, but you know it before you get in, when you get in the bunker, of which one it's going to be. So that certainly adds another layer there. But yeah, so it was great. Now the food is open at the clubhouse. So we had a really nice burger at after our 18 holes in the morning. I think it was burger, maybe a fish dish. I can't remember what it was. So not a super extensive menu, but it was really good. And then that inside area now, it's got like a nice kind of bar, some nice seats, and it's nice, a couple big screen TVs. So definitely that has been an upgrade. 13, where the fishing hole is, that area that they have created besides the shack, which for me, anyways, that's not my favorite idea of where I think the resources should have gone, but that's neither here nor there. That is apparently going to be opening in 4 to 6 weeks, I believe, but I don't think that's a hard date, but definitely that is coming along. And we talked to the GM kind of after our first round about the potential bog down of players there, because obviously 13, Sagebrush is a match play golf course. You don't want to stop for an hour and a half if you're in the middle of a match and like eat and drink and then come back out. So for me, it's really a play through there because now there's food and drink at the end of the round. However, if people stop there and then like 3 groups sit there, they drink, they hang out, and then they want to come out and then you get stuck behind there, all of a sudden there would be like a 4-group pile up on 14 tees. So, but what Randy was saying is that it's really going to be a 19th hole there. So you would cart yourself back to that. You'd park on the side there, enjoy yourself, and then take yourself back to the clubhouse or back to the first tee or whatever. And there was actually people doing that at the old shack after our second round, where it was like 5 or 6 carts went there. They were just drinking by the lake, having a great time, and they got back in their carts and went through. So that is definitely something I would strongly suggest for all golfers. I think they are going to try and police that because they know that's going to be a real bog down. And that place is absolutely sick. Like the deck is like almost overhanging the lake there. It would be a great place to go back to if there's music going and having a good time, for sure. So that's great because that bog down there would be really kind of devastating. But overall, wonderful experience that we had yesterday. I just want golfers to know that it's going to be a different experience for you if you're somebody like me that's been going there a bunch the last couple years. And now granted, this was a beautiful Saturday, like no wind, incredible. I've never played it like that. I think weekday golf, I'm assuming, is going to be a little bit more open, perhaps a little bit more freedom for groups to kind of play around a little bit. And certainly when we came in after the second 18, and still tons of daylight left, like nobody was teeing off at 1 and you couldn't see anybody on 1 green or coming down the par 3 either. 1, 2, 3 is at 4. So I think that there's certainly some opportunity hopefully to be able to kind of go back out and play some really fun things with your big group if you're staying on property. So that's my feedback from this weekend. Again, I can't speak more highly of that golf course. I think all of you need to get up there and play. I think if you've had issues with customer service before, I really hope you give Sage another chance because it's so fucking fun up there. All right, back to painting.